More breaking news right now. Roads shut down in Ocala as police officers investigate a plane crash. Right now, police are asking people to avoid the area of Southwest College Road and State Road 200. They say all north and southbound lanes are shut down right now.
Small plane was trying to make an emergency landing along State Road 200 when it crashed into an SUV and then hit a pole as it went down. The plane then burst into flames.
About 30 minutes ago, they set up this barricade, no doubt to provide some privacy, as Ocala PD says that the bodies of the two who were killed in the plane crash are still among the debris.
According to witnesses, they heard the plane sputtering in the air above the Market Street at Heathbrook. They say they saw the plane bank to the left wing dig into State Road 200. The FAA is now on the scene trying to determine the cause of the crash and how a flight that started out to be so routine could go so wrong.
On October 31st, 2019, at 11:20 a.m., a Beechcraft Baron, November 959 Charlie Mike, was departing for a short test flight. Its 73-year-old pilot was instrument rated, had flown a total of 7,800 total hours. His medical certificate was valid, and it had even been renewed that year. He had flown into Ocala International Airport the day before, and told a mechanic the right engine's fuel flow meter was fluctuating between 0 and high. The next day, the mechanic removed the fuel flow transducers from both engines and reinstalled them on the opposite engine. After performing the maintenance, the pilot and mechanic performed several test runs of the engine without incident. They then decided to conduct a test flight together, and as we'll see, the issues don't start in the air.
Ocala ground, Baron 959 Charlie Mike.
959 Charlie Mike, Ocala ground.
Yes, sir, we're over at the maintenance hangar, and we're going to do a little test flight. I guess I'm not familiar with this airport, so I don't know where you could send us to. Stay below the clouds.
This is a highly unusual request from the pilot to the ground controller. Under visual flight rules, the pilot will usually inform the controller of the direction of flight, and the controller clears them to fly that direction. Asking a controller to send you away from the clouds probably is an indication of a lack of awareness of the weather in the area. The controller is understandably confused by this request.
Okay, I don't quite understand. You want to depart for a test flight, is that correct?
Yes, we just need to do a little test flight. We're using run 15 here.
Runway 18 is in use, so taxi via Alpha 1 to 18, and then you can do your air work pretty much anywhere. It's really your call.
Okay, we'll probably do it to the west. So we're taking Alpha 1 to 18.
The pilot seems to be confused about which runway is in use. Ocala Airport is currently landing and departing runway 18. There's another runway, runway 26, but it's not being used at this time. The controller tells the pilot to taxi from his location to runway 18 via Alpha 1 for a departure to the west. It should just be straight ahead.
Is that 9 Charlie Mike, runway 18, taxi Alpha 1.
For an unknown reason, the pilot has turned right away from runway 18 towards runway 26. Luckily, he realizes his mistake and asks the controller for help.
Actually, Mike, did I make a wrong turn here?
Well, yes, unless you want runway 26. Otherwise, if you can do a 180 right there, that'd be fine.
I don't think I can do a 180 here, so we'll have to take 26.
Okay, the other option is on the numbers of 26, do it 180, then back taxi at 18.
Okay, so
Bear 9 Charlie Mike, you can proceed on the numbers of runway 26 and do the 180, then back on Alpha to runway 18. There is traffic on final for 18.
The controller has instructed the pilot to continue up to runway 26, then make a 180 and head the opposite direction back to runway 18, which he had passed a few seconds ago. The pilot should read back those instructions, but instead, he proceeds to runway 26 without fully understanding what the controller said.
okay, I'll do that.
Before the pilot does a 180 on runway 26, he once again loses situational awareness. He sees the taxiway on the opposite side of runway 26 and wonders if that's what he needs to follow to get to runway 18. He asks the controller to clarify.
Ground, Bear 9 Charlie Mike, I'm sorry. Do I just go straight ahead to 18 instead of turning left on 26?
What I need you to do is make a 180, just make a left turn all the way around and then back southbound to get to 18. And now Charlie Mike, just hold short of Alpha 1, and the runway will be heading to your right, and advise tower ready for departure. He does have traffic taxiing out to 18.
Hi, Charlie Mike. Approach, tower is 119.25, right?
That is correct, Bear 9 Charlie Mike.
Okay, we'll go over to them now.
Now that the Baron pilot seems to understand where runway 18 is located, proper procedure would be to perform a run-up checklist, make sure everything's working properly. It's unknown if this was done, but the controller and pilot finally seem to be on the same page for a takeoff on runway 18 to the west.
Tower Bear 959 Charlie Mike is ready in sequence for departure 18 or right. Crosswind to the west for a little flight test.
9 Charlie Mike, roger. Taxi up to and hold short runway 18. I'll have takeoff clearance for you at that point, sir.
Okay, up to the whole short line to 18, 9 Charlie Mike.
Nine Charlie Mike, Cal Tower, runway 18. You're clear for takeoff. For time being, fly runway heading. I'll advise you to turn to the west, please.
Okay, fly runway heading and you will advise 9 Charlie Mike.
System 66 Quebec, go ahead and start your right crosswind as soon as practical, please. Thank you.
Can you repeat one more time? Tower 366 Quebec.
No, you're fine. I just wanted you to go ahead and start your crosswind early like you did.
Marker 3866 Quebec.
959 Charlie Mike, you can make a right turn out to the west at your discretion now.
Here the controller expects 959 Charlie Mike to either respond that he'll make a right turn to the west or just go ahead and turn. But the controller gets no answer from the aircraft. Witnesses report the aircraft flying lower and slower than usual and veering off towards the east.
9 Charlie Mike, you can make your right turn to the west at your discretion, sir.
Okay, Tower 3866 clean, then beam to right downwind.
Quebec, stand by. 9 Charlie Mike, Cal Tower, you all right?
9 Charlie Mike, say again.
Hey Mike, I called you 3 times. Are you going to the west, are you going east, or where are you heading, sir? I have traffic inbound for the southeast.
Oh, we're heading to the west.
No, you're not. You're headed to the east, sir.
The pilot seems to think he's heading west when the airplane is clearly heading east. At this point, it has become clear that the situational awareness issues that plagued the flight on the ground have continued in the air.
Okay, 9 Charlie Mike, proceed on course to the west now. Thank you. Cessna 66 Quebec, runway 18, clear land.
Runway 1A, clear to land. Cessna 3866, going back. 3 nautical miles east of the field, November 07, Mike Sierra.
So Mike Sierra, Roger, stand by. November 9 Charlie Mike, what's your intention, sir?
At this point, the airplane has not turned right to the west as instructed. It's flying too low and slow, and the controller realizes that the airplane may be in distress. It's unknown what caused the aircraft to fly at this airspeed or altitude, and no mechanical issue should prevent a pilot with a clear view of the horizon from knowing the difference between a left turn and a right turn. But if there was a mechanical issue, the pilot may not have had the awareness to actually address it.
9 Charlie Mike, we need to return to the field, sir.
9 Charlie Mike, Roger, enter left downwind for runway 18. 7 Mike Sierra, maneuver, make a turn, head back to the east outside the Delta, please, for possible emergency here.
Heading outside of the interface, 7 Mike Sierra.
Roger, just head out to 5 miles, then make a turn back. We should be able to make it work then.
Alright, great turn to the east, 5 miles and turn back, 107 Mike Sierra.
Charlie Mike, exit the aircraft if you can, exit the aircraft if you can.
Witnesses say they saw the Baron level out for a moment before spinning to the left and crashing on the road, striking a nearby vehicle. The crash killed both the pilot and the mechanic, and the man in the vehicle sustained serious injuries. As of this time, no major mechanical issues have been found by investigators. The FAA's Forensic Science Laboratory performed toxicology testing on the pilot's tissue and blood samples, which identified diazepam, more commonly known as Valium, in the pilot's liver and muscle tissue. THC was also detected in samples of the pilot's blood, but it's very difficult to tell if the pilot was intoxicated at the time of the accident. THC can severely affect judgment for more than 24 hours after ingestion, and it's possible that it was a contributing factor to the pilot's lack of situational awareness or slowed reaction time to a possible issue in flight. If you're flying out of an unfamiliar airport, make sure to review the taxi diagram in detail. Listen to the ATIS to determine the runway in use, and of course, review the weather and decide on a flight plan, even for a short test flight. If your flight is starting like November 959 Charlie Mike with confusion, miscommunication, and lack of awareness, there's no shame in taxiing back to the ramp to just go back over your plan for the flight. It could save your life to just hit that reset button. For now, until more information comes out on this horrible tragedy, we send condolences to the families, and as always, a shout out to the excellent air traffic controllers who keep us safe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.